So yeah, I just recorded 5 minutes of video, which video sound on MP4, which I will not share. So this is take two of a project of mine, Rune of the Lunatic, which I will be sharing. And if you like it, you can read it. It's free of charge, and you can leave a comment telling me what you liked, what you hate, if I should kill myself, and if you do, prepare to be flagged, because that's mean enough for someone who survived on Reddit for years. So thank you, by the way, for watching, because I hope you at least you did watch second of this. So I'm in a strange mood right now. My voice, it's crap. So I'm doing it regardless. I begun the video again because I've never read this out loud and don't know how to pronounce some of these words out loud, and I don't want to make 5 different videos and get the best take. I just want to read this thing and pass it. So, sorry, not sorry. Rune of the Lunatic. Awakened by the sound of screams and growls, he found himself in the faint glow of a condescending moon that cast its silvery sheen on the blood and flesh around him. He was leaning against a wall whose bricks had been skirmished and battered by unspeakable beasts. His gloves were stained with blood and small specks of dust, probably from a gun fired near his prey. Probably from a gun fired near his prey. He couldn't remember, even if he wanted to. What did these clothes he wore represent? Black and grey clothes that cover his body in layers of fabric and buttons that created an uniform of elegant demeanor already stained by the blood foreign to its container. What kind of creature could the collection of organs and eyes in front of him belong to? Guts, hearts, eyes, stomachs, even a pair of lungs. Even if he couldn't remember a thing about his path, he could reason that such machines for life could not belong to the same being. Could they? That wall, crumbling like a child kicking a sand castle, felt familiar, but the state of it was in. What? Ah, yeah. Sorry. Not sorry. Felt familiar, but the state it was in did not cause him any concern. Despite such occurrences, the question that most buzzed at his heart was, who or what was he? That was something he couldn't answer and consequently couldn't stop asking himself. For the rest of the question there were answers, even simple or quote unquote reasonable. Reasonable, like fuck you. Their clothing, the no, their okay, well, you see, when you read it out loud, you find things like this. Like machinery isn't perfect. His clothing denoted money or status. Those organs belonged to some drunken butcher who tossed them into his confusion. The world was affected by the latent and unstoppable cruel passage of time that brought it down with rains and storms. Even so, his identity was impossible to reason at the moment, and those answers did not give him pleasure. You know what? Any satisfaction sounds gay. Give him satisfaction. Even so, his identity, it, identity, even so, even so, his identity was impossible to reason at the moment, and those answers did not give him any satisfaction. What's more, he seemed disgusted that he had even reached those conclusions and take them for granted. After a few minutes of motionless vigilance, what the fuck did I say? After a few minutes of motionless vigilance, he decided to stop and better check his surroundings. But I checked his surroundings. But despite his best wishes, he found more questions than answers. He was in some kind of field. There was an elusive stone path that led to his left and continues towards the horizon. That wall was just not a wall, but one of the foundations of a collapsed house whose interior was apparently charred by some flame. There was a trail of blood leading from the organs to the house, and from there to the opposite side of the road. Almost as if the bloody owner of those sticks had escaped to the horizon. Inside the house he found a single object that was not burned. It did not even seem to belong to the time of the house itself. A sword of abysmal proportions, intact and gleaming. The moonlight entered through the hole on the roof of that destroyed house and fell directly on that sword, which in turn reflected those divine rays towards the nervy walls. He thought about not taking it, but that would have been too reasonable of him. Reasonable, read that. I can't read that word. God damn it, I can't read that word. Bloody hell. Given the circumstances and strange events, the best thing will be to take that object and arm himself with courage by marching towards that strange world where he had waken up. Awake. No. This is bad. Awaken. This should be awakened. Yeah, better. This better. Awakened. Given the circumstances and strange events, the best thing will be to take that object and arm himself with courage by marching towards that strange world where he had awakened that fateful night. He walked over the table where the sword lay unsheathed, and found its sheath perched on one of the wooden legs. Sheath of an immense size for such an immense sword. By sheathing it, he could feel lighter, sure of his tools. He felt, for some reason, that despite not knowing where and when he was and who he was himself, if he was carrying that long and sharp piece of silver metal, he could withstand any test that the hazardous life presented him. He felt that only a fool or a madman will have made those decisions. That was not of no, that was of blah, 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 blah. He felt that only a fool or a madman would have made those decisions, but that was of no importance to him. It is better to be an armed fool and a helpless madman. Yay, I did it.